The Secret of the Underground Room by John Bellairs, Chapter 5. For a long time, the three of them sat watching the other tourists prowl among the ruins. The morning sun cast long shadows on the grass, and birds twittered in the thorn tree nearby. Johnny could hardly believe that what the professor was saying really was true. But if it was, what chance did they have of finding Father Higgins? If some evil force was strong enough to change the priest's appearance, what could the three of them do? As if in answer to Johnny's thoughts, the professor spoke. "I don't think we ought to give up," he said with tight-jawed determination. Excuse me. "At least we know that Higgy is here, and we have to wait for him to make his move. Why he hasn't swiped his mother's ashes already, who knows? Maybe the evil spirit doesn't want what Higgy wants, and is fighting against his will. Maybe there's a night watchman in the church, or an electric eye system, or something like that. But I'm sure he wants his mother's ashes, or he wouldn't be here." Fergie looked exasperated. "So what are we supposed to do?" he asked. "Camp outside the church door and wait for this old white-haired character to show up?" "No," said the professor calmly. "That would be kind of silly, wouldn't it? The clergyman would spot us. No, I think we should just let Father Higgins dig the ashes up and try to follow him. That shouldn't be too hard, because there are only two ways he can get out of town, by bus or by car. People visiting from out of town have to leave their car license numbers at the hotels they're staying at, and there are only two hotels in town. Ours and the Royal George down the street. I've checked out the local license plate, and I know the numbers they start with. There are no out-of-town plates listed in the register at our hotel, and I've already checked the Royal George just to see if Higgy was traveling under a fake name. No out-of-town plates there either, so that leaves the bus station. We'll check it, and hopefully there will be someone around who remembers a horsey-faced British clergyman and where he was bound for." "But where do you think he'll be going to?" asked Johnny. The professor shrugged. "That's something we'll find out later. If I'm right, he has to work some magic ritual to bring his mother back from the dead, and the ritual probably has something to do with that piece of green glass that he showed us. The day I invaded his house and copied his notes, I looked in the desk drawer where he kept the glass. The drawer was unlocked and the glass was gone, so he must have it with him. Remember what one of those notes said? Half a moon is bad, a full moon might be worse. Or is it? If you want to be imaginative, a round piece of glass could be like the moon. Well, I will bet there is another piece of glass out there, the other half of this moon, that this note is talking about. Somehow, Higgy has got to get his hands on it, and that is why we're going to follow him." As he listened to this speech, Fergie got more and more irritated. "Prof!" he exclaimed in exasperation. "How are we going to follow Professor Higgins around if he keeps changing his shape?" The professor sighed and took a long drag on his cigarette. "I was afraid you'd say something like that, Byron," he growled. "You've got a good point, I can't deny it. But when you don't have much to go on, you have to gamble." The professor held up two knobbly fingers. "I'm betting on two things," he said. "First, that the spirit that has possessed Higgy doesn't realize yet that we're onto him. Second, that he will go on making Higgy look like an elderly English clergyman. There are reasons why he might do this. Old clergymen are terribly respectable, and they aren't likely to be challenged by cops or anyone else." The professor looked sharply from one boy to the other. "Gentlemen," he said, "I realize that I'm betting 1,000 to 1 shot, but there's not much else we can do, is there?" And we'll pause there.